Coast to coast and around the volleyball world, good afternoon and welcome to Indianapolis, the 2023 NCAA Selection Show for Division III volleyball. I'm Brendan Gulick. It is a privilege to be with you today as we celebrate another great regular season by setting the stage for our national tournament field. It's been a great season. The biggest powers in the sport have continued to cement themselves atop the national rankings this year. This time of year isn't just about making statements. Sometimes you just got to survive. And whether you sweep an opponent or barely squeak one out in 5 sets, a victory means a chance to keep competing and keep chasing your dreams. It's been far too long since we've held our national tournament out west, and in just a few short weeks, the best teams in the country will gather in Claremont, California. Might that include our defending champion, Juniata, perfect 29-0. They've only dropped 5 sets all season. Or could it be time for the Titans from Wisconsin, Oshkosh, to win their first national title? Hope, Emory, Northwestern, Whitewater, NYU, and last year's runner-up Trinity all have had fabulous seasons, and they want a crack at winning a national championship. We will crown that champion Saturday, December 2nd at Roberts Pavilion on the campus of Claremont McKenna College. It's out east of Los Angeles. By the way, the Skyac champs are pretty darn good too, and the Athenas desperately want to hoist that trophy on their home floor. We'll keep you updated with all the latest tournament news and information right here on NCAA.com along the way. Let's have some fun. Here are the teams that will compete for a national championship this year, including 42 automatic qualifiers and 22 at-large berths. We start in the top left-hand corner of the bracket with Hope, the Flying Dutch, in the NCAA tournament on a high note. Opening weekend hosting duties for the Flying Dutch, their 5th MIAA tournament title and 15th regular season championship. They swept Calvin last weekend. Hope made it to the national quarterfinals last year before bowing out of the tournament. They're hoping to lean on that experience and make an even deeper run this fall, led by junior outside hitter and league MVP Addie Vanderweed. Bethany repeats as PAC champs this year, giving them 4 league titles now. All of them have come since 2016. Bison had a great experience last year getting to play one of the top teams in the nation in Emory. They'll try to use that lesson to their advantage this time around against the Flying Dutch. It's been a nervous few days in Cleveland for Case Western Reserve, but they didn't have to wait long to see their name on the bracket. The Spartans are in. Case finished 3rd in the UAA this year. It's a tournament now for the first time since 2015. Hello to Wisconsin Stevens Point, who's back in the field thanks in part to the big right arm of Ashley Kopp. Led the conference 3rd in the country with 551 kills. She's the 3rd player in program history to hit 1,500 career kills. Pointers play in a tough region loaded with talent. They are certainly battle-tested. Transylvania, the Heartland champion for a 5th straight year after they went on the road to Mount St. Joe's and knocked off the Lions yesterday. Pioneers got the league's auto bid back to the national tournament. Amy Barmore now in her 6th season leading the way, and after a run to the quarterfinals last year, the Pioneers eager to prove that last year's success can be the norm, not the exception. They'll open play against Mount Union, runner-up in the Ohio Athletic Conference. Carnegie Mellon dancing with an at-large bid out of the UAA. The Tartans closed the year strong with a win over Wash U. That bolstered their resume. And they are moving on to play Pacific Lutheran, who checks in here after the Lutes captured the first NWC volleyball tournament title on Saturday. Tournament marked the Lutes' 18th straight win. That means they're now 1 victory shy of tying the program's 19-match win streak set back in 2007. This is their 13th all-time appearance. Wesleyan, the automatic qualifier out of the NESCAC this fall. Cardinals won their 2nd conference championship, first since 2017. They beat Williams in straight sets on Saturday. Wesleyan hosted the regional last year, but they've got to start this year on the road. Nearly perfect. They dropped just 1 contest to NYU back in October. United East champions this year hail from Gallaudet. 9th conference title since 2010 when it joined the Northeastern Athletic Conference. 2nd championship using the United East name now. The Bison last won the title in 2001. Of course, Gallaudet will make its 14th all-time NCAA tournament appearance. They have a 16-match win streak on their resume. Christopher Newport back in with an at-large out of the Coast to Coast. 21 wins already for the captains this year. They'll try to add to that, beginning with another team making some history this past weekend. Ramapo won the New Jersey Athletic Conference for the first time ever. Roadrunners 25-1, and they are ready for the big dance. Middlebury impressed the committee enough for an at-large out of the NESCAC this year. Panthers played a tough schedule and will be ready for postseason play. For the second consecutive season and third time in the last four, the Manhattanville College Valiants won the Skyline Conference title. Playing in her final conference championship match, Bianca Vital earned tournament MOP recognition, capturing her third Skyline title of her collegiate career. The Centennial still runs through Johns Hopkins, who ripped off a 7th straight conference championship yesterday, did it in straight sets over Gettysburg. Blue Jays made a great run last year, clinching a spot in Pittsburgh in the quarterfinals. This year, they've earned a chance to stay at home the opening weekend. We'll see if they can punch their ticket to Southern California. Tournament begins for them with an NCAA debutante. For the first time in school history, the LaSalle Lasers walked away with a conference championship in the Great Northeast Athletic Conference. Lasers beat Regis in 4 sets to win it all. They are 27-4, adding to an already historic season. Okay, to the bottom left quadrant now, where Emory is a 2-time national champion, having most recently won in 2018. Could this be the year the Eagles get back on top? They certainly have the talent. 27th consecutive tournament appearance for Emory. They are top 15 nationally in both blocks and kills per set. They'll open up with the champions of the USA South, Meredith, the Avenging Angels, 15 wins in a row as we start the tournament. Mount St. Joseph fell to Transylvania in the Heartland title match, but they are still in the tournament with an at-large. Great season for the Lions, losing only to OAC champion Otterbein prior to yesterday's conference final. Covenant gets an auto bid, winning the CCS title for the 2nd straight season. Ladies from Lookout Mountain, Georgia, led by Hannah Harrer, who was the tournament MVP. All year long, Trinity, they've been driven by the incredible run they had last fall, ultimately came up one painstaking win shy of a national championship. But Trinity certainly proved itself capable of winning when the spotlight is brightest. Tigers took home the SCAC tournament title this year, and at one point they had 20 consecutive wins this season. Wittenberg makes what feels like an annual trip to the national tournament. Tigers won the NCAC when they upset top-seeded DePauw in 5 sets to win the league title for a 27th time. They've also earned one at-large berth in their distinguished history, so this is appearance number 28. Congratulations to Barry, who won a 3rd straight Southern Athletic Association Conference Championship. They're staying home this weekend to host the opening rounds. 10 SAA tournament titles now for the Vikings. Jazzy Innes led the way. She is the league MVP. They'll play Washington and Lee, the ODAC champion for the 19th time in program history. Also their 4th championship since 2018. This one was especially impressive, though, because it was their first as a 4 seed. Last hosting duties on the left-hand side of the bracket coming up here. If you're going to win in late November and early December, you got to have a short memory if things go south, right? Well, it's at this point we welcome back MIT, who put together an awfully impressive reverse sweep of Springfield to win a 9th NEWMAC championship yesterday. 22nd all-time appearance in the national tournament now for the Engineers, who made it through regionals last fall. Congratulations to Consecreta Rosario. She was the NEWMAC's most outstanding player. They'll start with Alfred University, who won the first Empire 8 volleyball championship in program history. Nice run for the Saxons, who won 3 road games in the tournament against 3 teams that had beaten them in the regular season. It's also Alfred's first time back in the NCAA tournament since 1999, only the 2nd time in school history. Cortland on the bracket here. They return after three-peating their way through the SUNYAC. Anna Pilkey led the Red Dragons, had a terrific record this season, their 22nd conference title. Take a deep breath, Gettysburg. You're in. The Bullets, fantastic defensively, ranking in the top 10 in blocks and in opponents' hitting percentage, and they will open things up against the Red Dragons. Salisbury dancing again this year after winning the Coast to Coast title. Seagulls finally got over the hump after falling 1 win shy of receiving the AQ the last couple years. They got past Mary Washington in a terrific 5-set affair yesterday. Big year for Coach Benetti's team with conference tournament wins over Christopher Newport and Mary Washington. Salisbury clinched a rare treble against both of the conference rivals by winning all 3 matches against them each time they played this season. Salisbury will open the tournament against an at-large team from the NESCAC. Welcome back to Williams, the Eafs, tournament bound. Cool season, what a great opportunity for Claremont Mudd Scripps. 2017 national champs won the SCIAC for a 6th year in a row. The Athenas are just 3 victories away from being able to compete on their home floor for a national championship. UMass Dartmouth still partying after winning the Little East for the first time ever last weekend. The Corsairs have had their most successful season to date, an overall record of 20-6 and an undefeated LEC record of 8-0, both regular season and tournament championships. This is their first ever trip to the national tournament. All right, 32 teams down, 32 to go, so we'll step aside for just a second and bring you the right half of the bracket momentarily on NCAA.com.
If you're not here for Fandom 101, you're in the wrong class. Here, we learn the fundamentals of fanology, the basics of bringing the noise, and the physics of bringing it out. Your path to fan mastery begins here. It's all part of the curriculum. The NCAA Championships. Attendance is encouraged. Passion is mandatory. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/tickets. Class dismissed.
Welcome back to our show, where we've already seen some really fun matchups here in the opening round this weekend. Let's not wait any longer. We'll move along to the top right-hand corner, where our next pod begins with the Violets from NYU, primed for an NCAA tournament run after they went to Atlanta and knocked off Emory in the UAA title match last year. The Violets took home the conference championship for the 2nd time in 3 years, but beating Emory has traditionally been a tall task. NYU and Emory have played each other 27 times since 2001, and the Eagles have won 23 of those. Violets were 1 win away for playing for a national championship last fall. They are ready to make another run at it. Eastern Nazarene College completed a dominant reverse sweep on Saturday to end Maine Maritime's national tournament hopes. With the win, the Lions earned their 4th straight league title, snapped the Mariners' streak of 6 consecutive NAC championships. Eastern University took home top honors in the MAC Commonwealth this year after sweeping Stevenson in the finals. Bridget Kelly led the Eagles in the title match, 9 kills, 4 blocks, a couple of aces. She's the MVP. Eagles open play against Tufts, the Jumbos, and at-large out of the NESCAC. Congratulations to Coach Thompson, who just surpassed 450 wins in her career a couple weeks ago. Babson bowed out of the NEWMAC tournament to MIT, but they are really dangerous. Could certainly make some noise this season. 8th appearance all-time for the Beavers, who have only missed 1 of the last 9 tournaments. Best run for Babson came in 2018 when they made the national quarterfinals. Speaking of Stevenson, they are dancing this year. They get an at-large from the MAC Commonwealth. Mustangs, a really nice 22-win season so far. Back-to-back Liberty League titles for Ithaca, and the Bombers are hosting this weekend. Ithaca opened the tournament with a win last year before bowing out to Christopher Newport. This has been a terrific 25-win season for the Bombers. And at this point, we say hello to the MASCAC champions, Framingham State. Tournament MVP Anna Zemansky led the Rams to a title this weekend and the auto bid that comes with it. Juniata, well, they were a lock to host this opening weekend. This is a program that has incredible history, but we might look back on this current group for a long, long time. Juniata's won 56 matches in a row, and that included taking home last year's national championship in Pittsburgh. The Eagles' 42nd overall conference championship, their 16th straight landmark conference championship. Olivia Foley named the MVP of the landmark after she had 36 assists, 9 digs, and an ace, and led the offense with a .301 hit percentage last weekend. Juniata has appeared in every single NCAA women's volleyball tournament since its inception in 1981. Congratulations, Heather Pavlik and her staff, on another remarkable season. They'll open up with Penn State Altoona. They check in here after winning its 3rd AMCC title in program history. 3rd ever title for this volleyball team, which last won a conference championship in 2011. Stevens back in the national tournament. They had a 4th straight MAC Freedom title. They won a first-round matchup last year before ultimately falling to Johns Hopkins. Stevens will play a back-to-back Atlantic East champion, Marymount, who gets an auto bid. Fourth title in program history for the Saints as they clinch their way in. See if they can build off last year's 5-set match in that first-round loss to Eastern. Springfield felt like they were going to blank MIT in the NEWMAC championship, but they couldn't quite close the deal Sunday afternoon. Still, though, 26-4 after an unbeaten run through the league during the regular season. That was plenty enough to earn an at-large invitation. First time since 2018, Wentworth, the Commonwealth Coast Conference champs. And with that, the Leopards matched their program best 15-match win streak. They set it back in 2018. Wentworth 14-1 at home this season. Obviously, they're playing on the road against Springfield. The last two here in this quad, Mary Washington, who fell in the Coast to Coast Conference final to Salisbury, but still a terrific season so far for the Eagles. In fact, they went 28-1 against everybody not named Salisbury. Had a nice run last year, winning a couple matches before bowing out to Johns Hopkins. Welcome back to Hunter, who beat John Jay this weekend in 4 sets. They got the auto bid out of the City University of New York Athletic Conference. Eighth championship in 9 seasons for the Hawks, and their conference best 27th title in program history. Okay, 16 teams left to go. We're in the bottom right side of the bracket now, where Northwestern had another epic season, winning a 5th straight UMAC title. 10th time in the last 11 seasons, they are the last team standing in the league. The Eagles made a great run last year, an amazing quarterfinals win over Johns Hopkins. This year, they will begin the tournament against Edgewood, who took the NACC title for the first time in 12 seasons when they upset Aurora. Second all-time appearance for Edgewood. Abigail Hoffman leads the way for the Eagles. Hello to Cornell College, who punched their ticket for the 10th time in program history, and they are hosting this weekend. Midwest Conference Tournament Championship, sweeping Illinois. The Rams have won 13 of their last 14 contests as the NCAA tournament begins. Welcome back to Milliken, who's back in the field from the CCIW. They were knocked out in the opening round last season and were probably a bit nervous today after losing 4 of their last 6, but Big Blue is moving on. Washington University stumbled a bit toward the end of the season, but they're still comfortably in the NCAA tournament. Bears are ranked 9th in the nation in assists, 13th in kills per set. That's pretty impressive since there's 421 teams competing at Division III. Of course, their conference schedule's always tough, but WashU's non-conference schedule was incredibly difficult this year. Surely that will have them tournament tested. St. Olaf in with an at-large out of the MIAC. The Olees had a heartbreaking loss after Gustavus Adolphus ended their conference championship hopes, but St. Olaf has been building back for this moment for the last 4 years. They are ready to make the most of it. WIAC champions on the board here. It's Wisconsin Whitewater finally on the bracket. Warhawks aren't afraid of anybody, and they made quite a statement by beating Oshkosh this past weekend to claim the conference title. This is their 34th all-time trip to regionals after winning their 18th conference championship. If you're keeping count, that's 14 more than any other program in the league. Great work from Stacy Boudreau's team again this year. For the second straight season, Co is the champion of the American Rivers Conference. The Co-Hawks get the AQ after upending Dubuque in 4 sets. Co has played great volleyball since the middle of October. They are excited to open tournament play while they've got a pretty good thing going. Last 8 teams, our final hosting site goes to Wisconsin Oshkosh, which comes to the NCAA tournament maybe feeling a bit snake-bitten, but as motivated as ever. Titans were 34-0 this season before losing to Whitewater in 3 really competitive sets in the conference title match. Oshkosh had not been in the conference championship since 2008, and they lost, and that loss to the Warhawks certainly stings, but it's also a stark reminder how precious it is to be playing this time of year. Nobody would put it past them to be the last team standing on December 2nd. Greenville, the Panthers back in the tournament. They won the St. Louis Intercollegiate Athletic Conference for an 8th time. They've now won 3 of the last 4 conference titles and 7 of the last 9. This time they got past Fontbonne in 4 sets. Calvin comfortably back in the field as an at-large. The Knights lost a little bit of their rhythm in mid-October, but they got a chance to hit the reset button. They'll play for a national title starting this weekend Calvin had some impressive wins on its schedule, including beating Transylvania and Barry early in the year. Gustavus Adolphus won the MIAC championship this past weekend, which was an epic 5-set thriller against St. Olaf. Third straight conference title for the Gusties, who are dancing for the 7th time now in 8 years. OAC volleyball still runs through Otterbein after the Cardinals knocked out Mount Union Saturday. Otterbein's played in 5 consecutive conference championship matches. Huge performance from Kennedy Hoffman, conference MVP, 27 kills, that's a career high for her, and third most in a single match for Otterbein since the NCAA switched to rally scoring back in 2001. Monica Wright, one of the most successful coaches in OAC volleyball history, and she is ready to lead her team to a 9th tournament during her tenure. Laverne lost the SCIAC title to CMS, but they were an obvious selection to get in the field this season. What an impressive season from the Leopards. They were 17-10 last year, 2 years ago 10-13. Laverne's a proud program, 3 national championships. They have not taken one home since 2001. North Park won the CCIW for the 2nd straight year, so they get an automatic bid to the tournament. Great year for the Vikings, who won the regular season and tournament title in the same year for the first time in program history. How's everyone doing down in Marshall, Texas? You've waited 20 years and 63 teams to finally hear your name. But I imagine the Tigers from East Texas Baptist are still partying from their American Southwest Conference Championship. It's their 4th league title, but their first since winning 3 in a row from 2001 to 2003. There they are, all 64 teams that'll have a chance to play for the national championship this year. Again, for the latest tournament information and news over the next couple of weeks, keep your eyes on NCAA.com and also on the school websites, especially if you're looking for ticketing information. I'm Brendan Gulick. Have a great day. Enjoy the tournament upcoming. Good luck to everyone competing. Look forward to seeing you out in Claremont, California on November 29th.
If you're not here for Fandom 101, you're in the wrong class. Here, we learn the fundamentals of fanology, the basics of bringing the noise, and the physics of bringing it out. Your path to fan mastery begins here. It's all part of the curriculum. The NCAA championships. Attendance is encouraged. Passion is mandatory. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/tickets. Class dismissed.